You know, I got to thinking this morning, you don't think that presidents aren't groomed. They are. I believe for the last, probably since George W. Bush Sr. took office, that every president that came after that has been groomed for that position. And I believe that all the Democrats work together, and the Republicans, the rhinos, work together, and they set up their government. And it's not our government, it's their government. And that's what we're in a fight for right now, is returning our government back to its constitutional state.
Let me talk a little bit about that speakership issue, because, as you know, these ongoing charges by former wrestlers seem to have had some of the wind taken out of the sails in these charges when Mark Coleman recanted some of his comments, and that it was not a case of you hiding something or not knowing or pretending not to know something. What do you make of what he said?
Every single coach, Neil, said the same thing I've said. All kinds of wrestlers have come forward and said the same thing I've said. And the reason they've all said that is because it's the truth. Everyone sees through this story. And so, look, we're focused on doing what the American people elected us to do, doing our job, and doing what they sent us to Washington to get accomplished. That's what I'm focused on. And if I get the chance to lead the House, that's exactly what I'll be focused on.
Client's firing was politically motivated. That is text.
Any other federal agency.
You know, Strzok's attorney said that his client's firing was politically motivated. That his texts were unfairly taken advantage of. They're protected by the First Amendment, and that was political free speech, you say?
I say, come on, this is the guy who said, we'll stop Trump. This is the guy who said we need an insurance policy. This is the guy who thought he was the James Bond of the FBI, the super secret agent man. So come on, that just doesn't fly. The American people understand it. And frankly, what we learned last week, Neil, from these email exchanges between Bruce Orr, a top official at the Justice Department, and Christopher Steele, the guy who wrote the dossier, I mean, this is amazing what we learned last week, where the Clinton campaign hires Fusion GPS to produce the dossier. Fusion hires Nellie Orr, Bruce Orr's wife. Bruce Orr then takes the dossier and gives it to the FBI. It is never supposed to operate that way in this great country. But that, in fact, is exactly what happened. And we got this confirmed just a few weeks ago when Peter Strzok was in front of our committee. And on the third round of questioning, I finally got him to admit, yes, the FBI was getting the dossier from Bruce Orr, whose wife was working for the Oppo research firm the Clintons hired.
Yeah,
that's what was going on here. And this is as wrong as it gets. And now the lawyer for Peter Strzok is saying, oh, he should have been fired. You got to be kidding me. He should have been fired a long time ago, and thankfully it happened today.
Yep.
Colleagues are saying it's reason enough for the Bob Mueller investigation to be disbanded. Others say that it's best for the president not to comment on this matter at all. What do you say?
Well, here's what I know. A year and a half into this investigation, or 13, 14 months into this investigation, there is still not one bit of evidence about any type of coordination, collusion, or conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia to impact the election. But we do know that the Clintons hired the Perkins Coie law firm, who hired Fusion, who hired Christopher Steele, who worked with Nellie Orr, who gave information to Bruce Orr, that was then given to the FBI to do what? To take this dossier, dress it all up, make it look like it was legitimate.
What really the Mueller folks are pondering right now? We have no way.
But we know this. We know.
Come on, Mr. Cavuto. You guys are popped in the worst sort of ways. And his face ain't real happy. We got to get a picture of his face, because he looks like somebody just kicked his fucking puppy. Look at that sad face. Oh my God, Jim's wearing a smile bigger than you are. Got it, Jimbo. You got it.
Know that they took the dossier to the secret court to get a warrant to spy on the other campaign.
So would you be
that should be something we should investigate.
That says Mueller should shut the thing down?
Yes.
I think it should be done as quickly as possible. I think it should have been done a long time ago, because, as I've said, we see no evidence of any type of coordination between the Trump campaign.
Do you think that the president should talk to Mueller?
No.
You have to leave that up to the president and his lawyers. That is not a call for you and me to make, or frankly anyone. That's a call for the president.
I'll give him the sweat off my fucking nuts.
Would that be a setup in your eyes?
I'll leave that to his lawyers. He's got smart lawyers working for him. If that's what they think needs to happen, they can do that. If they think it shouldn't, they shouldn't do it. That's their call. Yeah. What I know is what we have discovered in our investigation, and what I also know is Rod Rosenstein has been dragging his feet, and it's time to give us everything. Why do we have to wait this long until last week before we ever saw Bruce Orr emails between Bruce Orr and Chris Steele?
So let me ask you real quickly.
Don't change the subject, you little motherfucker. That Cavuto guy.
In the minute we have left, sir, if you'll indulge me, Omarosa with a tape and multiple tapes were told.
Oh, fuck Omarosa and the dead horse she rode in.
There's another member of Congress here today who is not only an Air Force veteran, but the first woman ever to fly a fighter jet in combat in U.S. history. And I've gotten to know her very well, and she is terrific. Congresswoman Martha McSally. Congresswoman. Thank you, Martha. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much. Thank you all for fighting for our military and for fighting for our vets. Nobody has made more progress on anything than what we've done with our vets. We have choice approved. You know that. We have so many other things approved for our vets, and it's really moving along well. I think maybe almost as important as choice is accountability. Now when we find somebody not treating our vets properly, you know what we say, right? You're out, get out, you're fired, get out. They couldn't do that. They couldn't do that. Now they can do it. Now they have to treat our vets properly. Our vets are our great people, and they get treated properly. So you have choice and you have accountability, and nobody thought that would ever get approved.
Program on the CNN airwaves and performed some heavy-duty gaslighting. Now, what is gaslighting? I'll tell you. Gaslighting is a tactic used by a person or entity in order to gain more power, make a victim question their reality. It is a common technique of abusers, dictators, narcissists, and cult leaders. It works slowly so that the victim doesn't know that they are being abused or brainwashed. Let's get started.
Now for a trip inside Trump World's Hall of Mirrors. But first, before we enter, let's make one thing really clear.
This is Brian Steller,
Most Americans
CNN.
believe that the Russian effort to attack the 2016 election is a serious matter that should be fully investigated. Poll after poll has shown that. But among President Trump's base, there is deep distrust of Robert Mueller's probe.
All right, stop right there. Nobody has ever one time claimed that Russia meddling in the U.S. election is not a serious matter. What we don't do is take CNN serious because they leave out the fact that the actual Russia meddling happened during the Obama administration. Plus, I could get into the fact that the Obama administration spent taxpayers' money meddling in Israel's election, but that's an argument for a different day. What CNN and the rest of the left-wing destroy Trump media tries to do is conflate the Russia meddling with the Trump campaign, which are two totally separate issues. Yes, Russia did tamper with the election process in 2016, just like they have done for the last 50 years. And no, then candidate Donald Trump or his campaign had anything to do with it.
Correct.
At least there has been no evidence made public to support such a claim.
Hi there, how are you? I'm fine.
Could you leave us over?
Hi.
She wanted a witness too, huh?
I'm only going to stay for a couple of minutes. These are lawyers.
This is
I'm going to
Omarosa.
talk to you about leaving the White House. It's come to my attention over the last few months that there's been some pretty, in my opinion, significant integrity issues related to you and use of government vehicles and some other issues. They'll walk you through the legal aspects of this. But there is some, from my view, there's some money issues and other things, but from my view, the integrity issues are very serious. I'm stuck with my past experience, and that is when we hold people accountable in the military, I compare what I see here at the White House and other issues that I've had to deal with, and say, what would I do to this in this case if I was in the Pentagon dealing with a Marine or a soldier or something like that. And the issue that you may or may not have a full appreciation for, but I think you do, this would be a pretty high level of accountability, meaning a court-martial. We're not suggesting any legal action here. Just stay with me. Just stay with me. Yeah. That it would be a pretty serious offense. So with that, I'm just going to ask you, these gentlemen will explain it, and we'll bring a personnel person in after they talk to you. But just to understand that I'd like to see this be a friendly departure. There are pretty significant legal issues that we hope don't develop into something that will make it ugly for you. But I think it's important to understand that if we make this a friendly departure, we can all be, you can look at your time here in the White House as a year of service to the nation, and then you can go on without any type of difficulty in the future relative to your reputation. But it's very, very important, I think, that you understand that there are some serious legal issues that have been violated, and you're open to some legal action that we hope, I think we can control, right? So with that, if you would stay here with these gentlemen, they'll lay this thing out. And
Can I ask you a couple of questions? Is the president aware of this?
Let's not go down the road. This is a non-negotiable discussion.
I don't want to negotiate. I've never had a chance to talk to you, General Kelly.
Yeah,
so if this is my departure, I'd like to have at least an opportunity to understand.
We can talk another time. This has to do with some pretty serious integrity violations. So I'll let it go with that. So the staff and everyone on the staff works for me, not the president. And so after your departure, I'll inform him if he gets interested on only.
That means John Kelly's doing his job. He's taking care of business. Not all of it has to go up to Trump to clear. That's the whole point of putting people in positions. And you know what? The Congress, when they get back in the Senate, they better get on letting Trump get these appointees through. He's still shy over 150 people that are intricate, and we're short on ambassadors. So when Congress comes back, it ain't about just their budget. It's going to be the wall, and it's going to be this.
It may be. So with that, I'll let you go, and gentlemen, if you could take it. Thank you.
On Donald Trump's desk, Adam Schiff is weeping as the memo's release is imminent. Moments ago, the House Intelligence Committee convened to vote on whether or not the FISA abuse memo should be released to the public. Well, they voted, and the Democrat Adam Schiff was not pleased. The president now has 5 days to sign off on the release to the public, and immediately following the vote, Schiff ran to the cameras and revealed something even more horrific to the swamp monsters who are watching. Take a look.
We had votes today to politicize the intelligence process, to prohibit the FBI and the Department of Justice from expressing their concerns to our committee and to the House, and to selectively release to the public only the majority's distorted memo without the full facts.
Well, I think, if you look at the history, we have every single branch of government now controlled by people who do not have the best interest of working Americans.
You're a
we
dickhead.
need to fight back. We need new leadership across the board, Republicans and Democrats alike. I mean, we're not that different. We both have Republicans and Democrats in our homes. But right now, this country needs leadership that reflects a new generation of people, a new generation of thinkers, people who are independent from the party system, and that's what we need right now.
Which, by the way, I hope Democrats do run a democratic socialist.
Do you hope that we win? Do the Democrats?
No, because I think you'll lose spectacularly, and then I will look forward to election night when I finally get to tell everybody I told you so if you end up running a radical. Problem with socialism, in the words of Margaret Thatcher, at a certain point you run out of spending other people's money. Venezuela, one of the richest countries in the world in the 70s. Now, the average Venezuelan has lost 24 pounds because they're starving to death.
Black, remember that, just in case we ever face to face and make contact. The title held by me, MIB, means what you think you saw, you did not see. So don't be what was dead is now gone. Black suit with the black gray bands on. Walk a shadow, move a siren, guard against extraterrestrial violence. But we ain't on no government list. We straight don't exist, no names and no fingerprints. Saw something strange, watch your back, cause you never quite know where the MIBs is at. And here come the men in black. Galaxy defenders. Now, from the deepest of the darkest of night on the horizon, bright light into sight tight, camera zoom on the impending doom. But then like boom, black suits fill the room up with the quickest talk with the witnesses.
Hey, this is Jude coming to you from Casper, and going over some of the headlines this morning, and I just can't believe lame street media is so stupid and so biased. Trump doesn't have to end the DACA program. It expires on September 30th. And it's not his job to fix Obama's illegal law. That's Congress's job to fix. And the first headline, DACA fix could overwhelm Congress. Well, if Congress can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, then I think we have over 100 stupid senators and, 435 stupid representatives in the House. Secondly, DACA was an illegal program to begin with. And what the Democrats and the mainstream media will not tell you is that these kids, they're all in their 20s and 30s. They're old enough now that they can, go to do a legal pathway to stay in the United States, but also that it helps their parents stay in the United States. That was one of the big problems with DACA when it began, was that it also included their parents, which were illegal aliens. Okay, now where does this stop? Where does it stop? I mean, if somebody comes over tomorrow and brings 3 of their kids, what are they going to be covered under the DACA program too? I mean, where do you put the cutoff? You got to put the cutoff somewhere, and it's got to be cut off now. I would also probably attach the spending bill or some other large bill to this, so that Congress, since they're unable to walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, and they're under pressure to get this put together within the next 6 months, and finally earn their wage. I mean, you got to remember, for the first 7 months of Trump's presidency, the Democrats haven't produced anything. They haven't done anything. They voted against everything, and they've spent a vast majority of that time on vacation. And it's time that they earn their paychecks for a change. And also, I think it's brilliant of President Trump to throw it right back to Congress to deal with, because that's where it should have been to begin with when Obama created this illegal law. I don't know why they all didn't get together and override the president on that, but that's something you need to ask your Democrat and your Republicans when they come home next time, is why didn't they stop it in the first place? I'm not buying all of this lame street media coming up with, they've been here for so long. Well, there's millions waiting in line to get into the United States, and they're willing to do it the legal way. So why should these guys get to step ahead of the program? I mean, we've already educated them. We've already paid for their food and their housing and their college education. They could go back home to Mexico too and make a living. But they don't want to do that. They want to stay here, and they want to keep riding all the free programs, and that's not going to happen anymore. And Congress needs to step up to the plate and do their jobs, finally. And also the good thing about this is you're going to see who supports illegal executive orders. And a vast majority of them are going to be your Democrats. I see we already have a few GOPs breaking with Trump, but you know what? They were never really Trump supporters to begin with. So they're always going to give him shit. Take notice of their names, and if they're your senators or your representatives, then vote them out at the first opportunity that you can, because they're not doing the American public's business. They're doing their own business. Okay, secondly, you got Trump leaning towards ending DACA with 6-month delay. Okay, that's not Trump ending DACA. DACA ends on September 30th of its own demise. And unless Congress gets together and does something with it, it's a gone deal. And it's not Trump's baby. That belongs to the Congress, and that belongs to former President Obama. Okay, next, Schiff. Oh, Adam Schiff. There is a real loser. He has just been he's like a young Chuck Schumer. You know, both of them aren't worth a plugged nickel between the two of them. And I think most people have figured that out. And hopefully, when his time comes up for voting, I think in 2022, that you guys smarten up and shit can that boy to the side. Next, let's talk about a little bit. Oh, here's a good one. Obama won't sit idly by if Trump ends DACA. What, does he still think he's president? I mean, really, the balls on this guy. They're as tiny as his ears. You know, he thinks he's still president. And, you know, for a hood rat that didn't have two nickels to rub together, you know, before he even ran for office, him and Michelle act like king and queen hood rat of the United States, and they're not. They're as important as my cat, whether it got neutered last week or not. That's how important he isn't. Let's see. Oh, they do the fact checking on Trump. Oh, this is wrong. What's his name didn't? His wife didn't. McCabe's wife didn't get 700,000, but she got 675,000. But because it wasn't exact numbers, they're calling Trump basically a liar.